Hello there, and welcome back to the neighborhood. Priced at $41.99, we're taking a look at the Tanchjim Mino thanks to Tanchjim themselves. This is a noise-canceling TWS earphone that aims to provide an alternative to audiophiles in the segment of the marketplace where there aren't many good options for audiophile sound. How does it do? Let's get into it. The build is largely a plastic one. It's a black plastic pod charging case with a clear flip-top lid. The bottom of the case charges via USB-C, and a USB-C to USB-C cable is provided in the box. Each earphone has a 10mm dynamic driver with a beryllium-plated dome and a microfiber leather polymer rim. The earphones themselves snuggle securely in the cutouts within the case, charging when not in use. Tanchjim promises 5 hours of operation, with 26 hours of power reserved from the case if fully charged. The style of each earphone is a stem-style design that angles into the ear canal and rests in the outer ear, kind of like the AirPod Pro does. The version I was sent is a black and deep slate gray colorway, but it also comes in white and light pink varieties as well. As I've already said, inside the shell is a 10mm dynamic driver. The ear tips are black silicone with oblong bores, which have become pretty standard a lot in TWSs these days. They fit comfortably in my ear, but can need a bit of adjustment to get a proper seal. The side of each earphone is touch sensitive and allows for one to pause, play, skip forward, or skip back. You can also turn the active noise cancelling off and on with a long press of this button. This is all pretty standard stuff these days, but I will say it's less fussy than some of the sets I've tried in the past. I also had no problem pairing its Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity to my cell phone. With that said, the claimed negative 45 dB active noise cancelling really didn't block out a ton of noise, but I suppose it sounds better with it than it does without it. The sound of these is pretty good, especially for a TWS, and much more audiophile in their presentation than most TWSs that I've come into contact with. With that said, these can come across a bit lean in the bass, somewhat bright in their tonality, and a bit aggressive in the upper mid-forward range, at least here or there. Resolution and clarity are a bit rounded feeling and consumer level as well. Detailing could be better, but it's not really worse than any other TWS that I've heard before, at least not in that regard. I was somewhat surprised as there is some depth and a slight dimension to the sound, but the soundstage from left to right is mostly between one's ears and better forward than back. In closing, overall, it's a very good option for those looking for a more audiophile sound from a TWS. But it's also not necessarily groundbreaking stuff here either. Like other TWS sets I've encountered, it's simply not going to outpace a well-implemented budget set with a wire. But between it and the Moondrop Neko Cake, it's mostly only my preference for its frequency response that I prefer the Moondrop. That is, if its EQ is adjusted through the Moondrop Link 2 app. You see, it's the Mino that's actually the more refined sound, and actually sounds a bit higher end, more resolving, and additionally linear to the ear. Furthermore, it's the Mino between the two TWS that certainly has a more expressive treble and better transient properties and decay characteristics too. Tanchjim also has an application available with a PEQ function for both Android and the iPhone, but being in the US, I could only download the APK for the Android app through a QR code on Tanchjim's Chinese webpage, translated into English via Google. But while it was a bit of a pain to locate, it was worth the scavenger hunt. Through this app, one can tinker with EQ on the Mino to dial things in a bit further to their liking. Within the sound settings of this app, there's a mode setting to adjust between high bitrate and low bitrate, low latency for gaming, and a manual EQ option. And also there's some presets. From these presets, I found the popular sound to be the most balanced, improving bass and smoothing out any aggression more appropriately than any of the other settings. Ironically, the balanced sound was a bit too thin, and the nature sound a bit too tamped down. There was also a firmware update that posted during the process of this review though, and even the default sound was much definitively improved upon compared to the prior firmware of this earphone. So take that into account when watching other, older reviews by reviewers who rushed their reviews out of this product. Thanks to Tanchjim for sending the Mino into the channel for an honest review. Tanchjim continues to output some solid products, and I look forward to reviewing more from them in the future. Make sure that you've subscribed and turned on notifications so that you can check out the channel's future uploads. Also consider following the channel at all other social media outlets, the links for which will be provided in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'm out for now.